Hi, I'm Dave Gardy here over at the first at FOSE booth for FOSE TV where the webcast is going on, but we're interviewing a GovSec exhibitor who's attracting a lot of attention on the floor. To my immediate right is Daniel Krantz, who is the Chief Executive Officer of a company called Real-TimeTechnology Group, and to his right is Leo P. McGuire, a former retired sheriff, Bergen County, and Director of Government Affairs for the company, Real-TimeTechnology Group. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We got one mic we're kind of sharing over here, but I just want to we heard a lot about the technology in your presentations, which of course are on the GovSec webcast site. Give us an overview of what the company's all about, Dan.
Thank you, Dave. We founded the company specifically to respond to the needs of public safety organizations for better ability to identify who people are, their affiliations with different organizations, their skill sets that earn their right to access secure facilities rather than just be a name on a list.
Okay. Now, Sheriff, you've had an interesting background. Give us a little bit of an overview for some perspective on that, and why you selected a company like this to come be the Director of Government Affairs for.
Well, my career is about building a career and building my ability to serve the public in greater ways along the way. Out of high school, I joined the United States Army as a military policeman, and I was stationed right here in Fort Meade, Maryland, only about 30 miles away. Then became a police officer, eventually foolishly maybe, entered politics and became the sheriff of the most populated county in New Jersey, Bergen County, a county of about 1 million people. Retired from law enforcement, but that fire in my belly to still provide for public safety is still there. So I was lucky enough to get introduced to Dan and Real-TimeTechnology Group, and when I found out how our technology, a real-time, can be a force multiplier for public safety, because it's not about the technology, it's about the synthesis of the public-private partnership that exists, how technology can support our efforts every day for making our communities safer.
Dan, from a technology point of view, you drew an earlier allusion to what separates and distinguishes you from some of the companies that are here. Give us that perspective.
We're not just a technology company, we're a support to those public safety officials. And to do that, you can't just write code. You have to have the people, the infrastructure, and the desire and motivation to constantly be on the cutting edge. For every new radar, there's a new radar detector. And the same thing happens in the technology world. We're surrounded by threats on a daily basis, and our technology staff really focuses on the security of our systems and the integrity of the processing that we do on behalf of public safety officials.
Excellent. Leo, give us an overview of what some of the customers you work with in the Department of Government Affairs, what they really like about Real-TimeTechnology Group.
Well, our customers range anywhere from the commercial side to the governmental side. From sheriffs, obviously, I know lots of sheriffs across our nation because I served as a member of the board of directors of the National Sheriff's Association. So our associations go far and wide, from the commercial sector to the governmental, law enforcement, public safety, basically in that area. But at its core, it's about making our communities safer in various ways. We need to, and we actually try to facilitate public-private partnerships between our governmental customers and the public that they serve. Because too often we've forgotten that private entities need security and can be supportive of the public safety efforts, because quite frankly, we in government, or formerly in government, cannot do it alone. This is a partnership, and real-time technology helps provide the facilitation of those partnerships to ensure a safer community.
Now, Dan, thank you, Leo. Dan, one of the things you've mentioned in the past is how you've got to constantly be in the compliance mode, and you had an interesting story about JP Morgan audits. Give us an overview of that.
So we were recently involved. We also build custom security systems, and in this particular case, we're talking about a system of MSA securities that transfers X-ray images from all around the world back to a command center in New York, so that those X-ray images can be analyzed by true bomb technicians retired from NYPD. In doing so, we're subject to very strict audit controls, and part of that audit was an analysis of our own code. And when presented with this challenge of, you're not going to pass because nobody does, my response was, we better pass, because that's what we focus on. It doesn't make us perfect, it doesn't make us omnipotent, but it does demonstrate our focus and dedication, not just to write functional code, but to write functional code for the security market.
Leo, you've been here in the show floor at GovSec for a while. Now you're over here at FOSE, but some of the people that are coming up to you from the community that you were formerly in, the law enforcement community, what are some of the trends that are evolving that Real-Time Technology Group has applications and answers for?
Well, once again, as many police officers or governmental officials as we have serving, the population that we serve is so much greater. It's exponentially greater. So we need to have that partnership. And one of the things that I think that I'm able to do is translate the technology, the understanding of technology into cop speak or government speak to allow them to recognize, without getting into the bits and bytes necessarily, how it works. What are the benefits to the community? What are the benefits to your bottom line? What are the benefits to your budget? Because again, it's not about the technology necessarily, it's about being a force multiplier. It's about ensuring that we are as efficient and effective as we can possibly be. And we can make that case, that value statement that says, if you employ a technology like ours, and we share very straightforwardly the building blocks, as we did in our presentation yesterday, the building blocks, which was not a sales pitch, was the building blocks of ensuring that you know who you're dealing with in your facilities, who you need to have on a particular scene if it's a critical reentry, like a Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey that we're still recovering from, or Hurricane Katrina that I responded to as a sheriff. Who's in our neighborhoods? Are they pre-enrolled? What are the attributes about those people? So I can translate the techno stuff into government speak.
Excellent perspective. Dan, finally, with the recent Boston Marathon affair, the shooting of the 19 people in New Orleans recently, have these recent events created a demand for some of the solutions you've got?
Unfortunately so. It's sad that we have to do what we have to do in today's world. When I started the company and our real-time verification offering, our technology, it was really aimed at that very high level of critical infrastructure protection, the World Trade Center, the bridges, the tunnels, the airports. That was the perceived threat. Events like the Boston Marathon open up that threat to all sorts of different venues that in the United States we've never been prepared to really secure and vet the individuals. Do they belong? Who are they affiliated with? Do we need to have them here? And those types of tragedies unfortunately do create large expanded demand at different venues that never felt threatened in the past.
If somebody wants to find out more about Real-Time Technology Group, where should they go on the web?
www.realtimetg. Can I say that again?
Yeah,
www.realtimetg.com.
www.realtimetg.com. That's Real-Time Technology booth 2810 at the GovSec booth. And I've spoken with Leo McGuire, former sheriff of Bergen County, New Jersey, and director of government affairs for the company. And of course, Dan Krantz, who's the CEO. Get a hold of their other presentations that are also on the GovSec TV site, and we're going to put them on the FOSE TV site. Thank you for joining us here today, gentlemen, over on the FOSE side of the equation. I'm Dave Gardy here for FOSE TV webcast and GovSec's webcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.